Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to Escape from Crazytown and welcome to Happy Crappy Hour, where we share our good news and our bad news. But ultimately, we learn from both, right? So, welcome. Glad to see you guys hopping on. We have quite a topic today because I've heard this question a lot of times from viewers who've asked, if the narcissist ever gets obsessed with us. So I wanted to answer that. And some I know the reason they ask is because they want the narcissist to be obsessed with them, right? They want to know that they mattered. They want to know that the narcissist didn't just use them and then discard them and never thought of them again. And a lot of times, I do believe the narcissist, and I know actually from experience with some narcissists who continually talk about their exes and are obsessed with their exes, that narcissists do become obsessed with their exes. Now, there are several ways that the narcissist becomes obsessed with them. So, we're going to cover that today. So, welcome, you guys. I wanted to start off with some happies and crappies this morning. Angel, good to see you. And John, good morning. So glad that you guys are here and hopping on and joining the conversation. If you guys could give me a thumbs up or make comments during the live stream, but also after the live stream on the video, that would help the algorithm or whatever it is they use to move your videos up and recommend them. So please do that. Subscribe, share the videos, and once in a while watch a commercial. Don't have to watch those hour-long ones. Just 30 seconds of them would help. So thank you guys for doing that. I really appreciate it. I want to keep this content coming and we really want to keep this community here for you so that whenever you need it, it'll still be here. Well, you guys, let's talk about our happies and crappies this week. And sometimes I struggle to find what my crappy is, but lately, not so hard, right? The main crappy for me has been the oppression that we feel, kind of just that pervades most of our lives right now. Everywhere you go, there's this oppressive spirit on people, not the joy we used to see. And it's been, gosh, you guys, probably, several months, right? There will be moments where you have joy with your friends and in your smaller groups. But generally, when you're out there in the public shopping or at a park or anything like that, it seems like people are very, very subdued or angry. So that is a crappy. So we got to ask, excuse me. Oh, I'm a little dry. Let me grab my water. Good water. So we have to ask, what do we do about that, right? Because we're not going to be able to get rid of that. We're not going to be able to affect other people or change other people. You can't affect other people. You can spread joy actually yourself. But so that's why I go out of my way to say hello or good morning, talk to people. Not necessarily for a long period of time, but at least greet them, even though most people are keeping them to themselves, right? Most people are hidden and behind their mask, and they don't know if another person is receptive or will be receptive, so they don't say anything. People aren't making eye contact as much, but that's where you can be a little different, right? That's where you can inject a little bit of life and joy back into the atmosphere. So that's what I've been doing with that crappy, which helps. It helps a lot because it seems like other people are starving for that interaction as well. So do that. Say hello. And even if people don't say hello back, it could be because they're just so oppressed that they're shocked that anybody would acknowledge them. They're so isolated and separated for so long that they don't even, it doesn't occur to them and it doesn't come naturally to them anymore to respond to a greeting. That's how isolated we have become, you guys. It's terrible. Well, yeah, exactly. God's promises is very true. Lockdown has caused this. Absolutely. And Eric, good to see you. He says, hello, all from Scotland. Oh, wow. That's exciting. So glad to have an international group here today. This is great. I love, oh my gosh, I watched this Scottish show. Let me think. What is it called? Oh, it's these two old guys. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I have to ask my husband. Sort of like Still Got It or something like that. It's hilarious. These two guys. But the Scottish accent is so hard for me that I have to do subtitles. It's awesome, and my husband and I love the show. Oh, I gotta try to remember it's on Netflix. I don't remember, but something like Still Got It. Oh, Still Game. That's it. I love it. Anyway, one of my favorite shows. So welcome here from Scotland. So glad to have you. Uh, Pathetic troll. Okay, says I am much too busy staring at my reflection in my fancy mirror to ever watch this video. Oh, okay. And yet you're here watching the video. All right. Oh, dangerous conversations. Thank you. Yes, still game. So people out there know about this show. Love that show. So you guys, my happy this week is that I did get together with some, my usual women's group. Once a week we meet, but we haven't met in a few weeks. We did meet again once last week. Yeah, we did meet last week, and we met again this week. And I'm back to volunteering as well. I had to take 2 weeks off of that because I can't remember. Oh yeah, because of Thanksgiving, and we had relatives in. So anyway, yeah. So getting back to volunteering and getting back to my usual women's group just gives me a sense of normalcy, right? And not just normalcy where you're just doing the same old, but invigorating stuff, interaction, people you're working with, people you're doing good things with, right? People you're living life with and adding to the goodness in this world. So that inspires me. That makes me feel full, and anyway, it just feeds my soul. I would highly suggest that. Uh, Pathetic troll says, if a sissy is a narcissist, would that be called a narcississy? I don't know. Yeah. uh, I don't know who that is, Sir Harry Lauder. Maybe I'll look that up. Is that a show? Very cool. Oh, Angel says, I think you need to boot the troll. Oh, okay. Oh, that's how you do it. Well, let's see if the troll behaves because I just figured out how to do it. Very nice. Renee, says, yes, please boot the troll. Oh, really? Well, let me see how the troll behaves here. God's Promises says, A Gray State on Netflix is an interesting movie, documentary. Anyone watched it yet? Oh, I have not. I'll also take a look into that. Thank you guys for all these recommendations. I heard another one. I don't know that it's on Netflix, but it's called The Man Who Invented Christmas. I heard that's a good Christmas movie. So I was going to watch that. A really good friend of mine recommended it, and I really trust her taste. So she said it's a good one. Well, you guys, so those are our happies and crappies. We want to learn from them. We want to continue to do good things. We want to continue to meet up with people. And you know what? I'm not going to have someone dictate to me what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. I'm not hurting anybody, and the people that I love are not hurting anybody. We've been together so long that whatever we have, you know, and we're a very close knit group. Anyway, let me tell you, the more people try to oppress humans, our human spirit comes out, and we will only. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, you guys. It's really just awful, the lockdown and all that. And watching the people going out of business. I hear that they expect 300 million people to starve, be starving right now because of all the lockdowns around the world. And nobody talks about that, right? Because there's no excess money being made, people are not contributing as much money as they used to. So we got to consider that as well. The cure cannot be worse than the disease. And also, we're going to find out that the disease is not as bad as we thought it was. Just because people talk about it doesn't mean it is. Anyway, you guys can have your own opinions about that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sir Harry Lauder was born in Portobello, Eden, born Portobello. What does that mean? I don't even know. Edinburgh, Scotland. Interesting. Frost is best in world. Good to see you and welcome. Cool. Renee, I'm so glad that you're here. So let me do this. There we go. This way I see all my chats. Sometimes some of the chats are hidden from me for some reason. All right, you guys, let's hop into it. When does a narcissist become obsessed with you? It was a question that was asked recently, and I know the reason was because they want to know that they mattered to the narcissist. So I'm going to start at the beginning. Uh, I'm sorry, Angel. Angel just said she's headed out of town for the holidays and needs a change of scenery. Well, safe travels to you and have a wonderful trip. Oh, yeah. God's promises says exactly. The pharmacist worker said her grandparents had it and they never leave the home. Yeah. Or they have it and they never leave the home. So where'd they get it, right? It's she says they have cold symptoms but are fine. Exactly. Exactly. So you guys, when does a narcissist become obsessed with you? Starting at the beginning, they are become obsessed with you when they have to have you, right? When they first meet you, they're enthralled by you. They see you across the room. They're captivated by you. They're captured by you in some way. And they need to have you, right? So, of course, that begins the love bombing. The first obsession they have with you is through the love bombing. Now, that is the honeymoon stage, if you will, with a narcissist, right? That's when they do everything perfectly. That's when they put on their best self and they want to, it's a game to them. They want to see how hard they can make you fall for them, right? They want to be the perfect character in your life. And that's what it is. They play this character, this perfect character in your life, and they want to see you respond to them. It delights them to see you responding to their behavior. So they will lay it on very, very thick. They will play up as if they're just the most amazing person with no hangups and has the most free spirit and most accepting person ever, right? And you just feel like, wow, I feel so good around this person. This is the first part of their obsession with you. And the way they behave through that obsession of needing to have you, needing your supply, needing you to respond to them, is they're going to love bomb you. And a lot of people, if not all, no, I wouldn't say all, sorry, a lot of people do fall for that. Um, and the good news, I guess, is that some people don't fall for it. And those of us who've been through it can now recognize it when it happens, right? When the love bombing, the laying it on super thick comes on. We look at that and we go, okay, we can identify this right away. You are trying way too hard to be this perfect person in my life, acting as if you never get angry at anything. You love everything that I love. Remember how they reflect everything onto, from you, so that you think that you're with someone who's your perfect match, right? So they get obsessed when they see you and they meet you. They need to have you. And that's the part where we kind of gravitate to. And when we're no longer together with the narcissist, that's the part of our relationship that we remember and we want to have back. We become obsessed with that part of the relationship, the love bombing part. And we think that we can recreate that. We can reinvigorate that. We can bring that back into our relationship when the narcissist has moved past the love bombing stage, right? Once they move past the love bombing stage, a lot of us start, that's when the slide downhill starts. That's when we start to become devalued and ignored or just outright rejected by the narcissist. And of course, during that time, we're thinking, well, they're definitely not obsessed with us. They don't even care what I think about anything. They don't even seem to care that they're hurting my feelings. And a lot of times that's where we remain in the relationship. And we look back and we think, do they even care, or did they even care? Now, another stage where, excuse me, where the narcissist becomes obsessed with you is actually when you insult them or injure them. Okay, so that could be during the relationship or even after the discard. It doesn't even have to be an actual injury to the narcissist. It can be a perceived injury, a perceived insult to the narcissist, right? A perceived rejection of the narcissist. They will become obsessed because one of the things the narcissist needs is for people to want them. So if you're rejecting them, if you're insulting them, if you are not caught up in their fake world of and worshiping them, they will become obsessed with making you worship them, right? They will become obsessed with requiring you to stay with them. So say here's the part. When you insult the narcissist, you will then become a challenge to the narcissist. They need you to apologize. They need you to admit you were wrong. They need you to erase that insult that you just put on them, right? Or that injury that you just committed on them. So they will go after you until they are satisfied that you pay the penalty for insulting them. So either one, they get you to apologize and continually apologize, by the way, for pretty much the rest of your relationship, for ever having hurt them, even if it's a tiny, minor thing, right? They will remind you continually for the rest of your relationship how you had hurt them. And it doesn't matter that they've hurt you 15 times worse or 15 times more than you've ever done anything to them. They will hold on to that one injury and require you to replay that injury and re-apologize for that injury every time they remember it. So that's, you guys, that's hell. That's a hell relationship. Why would you want to stay in that, right? So that's another way that they are obsessed with you, even during the relationship, because if you should cause an insult or injury. Now, the biggest insult or injury is when you discard them, right? And that is another time that they become super obsessed with you. Because no, they cannot accept that someone would leave them. Like, they're so wonderful and perfect and amazing. How could someone ultimately reject them, or commit the ultimate rejection, which is to discard them, to leave them, and in their mind, abandon them. So you're the bad guy for abandoning them. You never loved them. So now they're obsessed with convincing you to stay, guilting you, using all of their tactics, right, to get you to stay with them. And they'll guilt you. They'll pull at your heartstrings, try to get your sympathy, how much this is killing them, that you're not giving them another chance. They will do everything to keep you as you're trying to discard them. Now, here's the crazy thing, right? So here's their obsession. They're so obsessed. They're like, they don't even see past the moment they get you to stay. Their entire goal is just, I need to get this person to stay. I need my supply to stay. So I need my supply to come back and be where I can control them. Because as you're discarding them, you're starting to cut some strings, right? You're starting to throw some blockades in their way, and they don't like that. So they need to break through those blockades. They need to make sure that you are still connected to them. They will go out of their way to possibly even love bomb you again to try to get you to come back. They may say, I'll never do this again, and then they'll admit to things that they've never admitted to before, because they know they have to pull out all the stops in order to get you back, right? Whatever it takes to get you back. And they may even up their game of love bombing way before, up it from before when the first love bombing occurred. So you may see the kind of love bombing you've never even seen from this narcissist ever before, right? They're suddenly doing so much more for you because they need you to stay. And they act as if they're so injured if you wouldn't stay. So you end up staying. Now, that whole obsession of just getting you back, all the things they will do to get you back, suddenly, once you're back, it won't matter anymore. Now the obsession is gone. Now they've got you. And this obsession again goes away. And now they're actually even considering discarding you. So a lot of times people have been pulled back into a relationship that they tried to leave only to be discarded right afterwards. And you're like, what the heck? Why, if you were just going to discard me, why didn't you just let me go? And the reason is the narcissist ego and pride is so big that they cannot take the fact that someone would leave them. They need to be the one leaving you. So there's the big obsession. You cannot leave them. You cannot insult them. You cannot injure them. They will become obsessed with getting you back under their thumb to control, and then only so that they can discard you when they're done. It's so absolutely nuts. So to people who say you kind of like hope that the narcissist is obsessed with you. But the reality is it would be hell if the narcissist is obsessed with you, because they are not there for a relationship. They are there to control you and make you fit into their life and serve a purpose in their life. You're not a part of their life. You're just a tool that they use in their life. So I wanted to cover this because I wanted to help you see how lucky you are that you are away from the narcissist, how blessed you are that you discarded them or that they discarded you. Either one, you are still blessed, because now you don't have to deal with this crazy obsession that they do have on you or over you or to control you. Well, you guys, I wanted to start with that, and we're going to dig in a little bit deeper, but I want to see what you guys have to say. BB Scott, good to see you. Says good morning and happy Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to you guys. Oh, so next week, what are we looking at? Thursday is Christmas, isn't it? Hold on. Let me think. I think it is. So I could try to do a Happy Crappy Hour on Wednesday again. So I will announce it Tuesday to let you know when our next Happy Crappy Hour is. I don't think I'll be doing it on Christmas Day. So look for that. I'm going to actually be traveling. So we'll see also about that, what I can do. Let me see, you guys. Wow. Angel says, I've been love bombed by ex-narc so many times. The devalue and discard got worse every time. I lost so much time, money, and self-esteem. Yeah. She says he would ruin every holiday. Yep. Had to call the police. Boom. Narc gone. Yep. It's crazy because they up their game. They up their obsession each time you've rejected them or each time you've insulted or injured them. They will get worse and worse. Yeah. God's Promises says, oh yes, spot on. Yeah. Frost is best. Oh, hold on. Yeah, says, bad memories. I would discard her, usually for cheating. Yep. Take her back after the begging. Then she'd find someone to cheat with and discard me like 10 times worse. And that was just like a long cycle. Exactly. And I'm so sorry you went through that. This is exactly what narcissists do. And you wonder, like, why do they beg so much? I had a narcissist do that with me as well, where he, did something and I was like, okay, that's it. I can see now that our relationship is over. He had disrespected me, had not discarded, what do you call it? Disregarded me a few times. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't seem like this person very much values me. So I've got to end this relationship. So I ended the relationship. But as I was ending the relationship, this guy was just begging and begging me not to end it. And I just couldn't bear it. I was just like, wow, he's just so distraught. He came over to my house. He was just, he didn't leave. He wouldn't leave, and he just kept begging me to not let him go, and that, I can't even remember the words he used, but I just the how distraught he was, the look of pain on his face was so, it looks so genuine, right? And they're in. It's sort of like, how actors, what do they call that? Oh, I forget what it's called. The kind of acting where they essentially become that character, right? So they're not just playing a role, they actually take on that character as if that character is them. Like they're really living emotionally, like tricking their brain to live that character. So that's essentially what goes on with a narcissist. They act as if they are um, playing that character, but they're not playing, right? They are actually uh, feeling all the feelings that would normally come with that character. You guys, I'm trying to fix the lighting here because it's so dark behind that. We'll see if I can get this to go a little better. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, well, I'll just leave the light here. We'll see what happens. All right, you guys. So yeah, he came over. I think it was a couple of hours of begging and crying and, please don't let him go, and how much he values our relationship and this and that. And I was like, okay, okay, what do I do? All right. And I just felt like, almost in a way, honored that someone would want me to stay so badly, and only to have the same thing happen again right afterwards, right? Totally disregarded, totally dejected, totally, what do you call it? You know, uh, how they change their plans at the last minute and abandon you, and you're like, what the heck? So that's how I realized, what the heck? What? But good thing I learned it once, and was able to let them go. Yep, yep. Yeah, Angel says he would bring up the past always. God's promises. The narc knocks on the door. The narc knocks on the door, and I say, "Sorry, wrong address, sir." I act as if I don't know him. He goes from laughing to sounding very angry and leaves. Pretending to not know them angers them badly. Yeah, or just ignoring, right? When we go, um, what's that called? When we gray rock. I can't. Sorry, you guys. When we just block them out, we don't give them the reaction they want, and we just ignore them. Wow. Renee says, after 3 years of no contact, I received flowers in September and then Christmas gifts on my doorstep last week. Wow, right? Yeah, the narcissist is coming back. They do. They come back when they are dejected, and especially when you didn't throw them out like in a horrible, bad, way that other people might have thrown them out, and they think they still have a chance with you. So they will come back. Don't take the bait. Just don't take the bait. Just going back here, I missed a few. B. Scott, good to see you. Oh, yeah, we saw that earlier. God's promises says, yes, they want you back to get satisfaction from dumping you. Yep, risk, good to see you. Oh, yeah. Oh, Angel 7 says ex-narc is now obsessed with his favorite bartender, 21 years younger than him. Of course, everybody's obsessed with a bartender. I kind of have noticed that. Not that, and I've worked with a bartender, before, or bartenders, because I used to waitress. And it's something about bartenders that just makes people feel like they're the ones in charge, because everybody has to come to them, I guess. And I don't know if it's just me, but the bartenders I've been around, they all seem to be in control, like in control of themselves. They all seem to be almost like the teacher, right? When you go into a classroom and there's the teacher or the professor, and everybody just automatically respects the person who's in charge. The bartender is like that in a restaurant. Like everybody just automatically respects the bartender and thinks they're in charge, thinks that they've got it all together. Um, and that's very desirable to a narcissist, right? So because they have to have the person who's on the top. They're not going to settle for some waitress or some bus boy, right? They want the bartender, the one who seems to be the one in control. So, and the one who's like more the showy one, right? The one who's out front. Because the manager may not be out front and visible. The manager generally is the quiet, in the corner guy who's watching and making sure things are running smoothly so it doesn't draw any attention to himself. But the person that draws all the attention, that's who the narcissist wants. And usually it is the bartender. And so it doesn't surprise me. And then, of course, the other thing is 21 years younger. Of course, that makes them feel great. Now, who's this? Cluster B Free says, escape from Crazytown, aloha. Been healing, put ex-narcopath out. 4 months narc free after 33 years. He is obsessed, collapsing, raging, and stalking. Yes, exactly. Cluster B Free. I agree with you. That is exactly what I'm talking about today. They do become obsessed with you because they need to control you. And not only that, they need you to pay for the injury you caused them. And by the way, there's never any payment that's going to be enough for the narcissist. There's never going to be enough payment to them where they will finally say, okay, so long as I got that apology, or so long as you paid me for whatever, oh my gosh, you guys, I will use this as an example. I made a couple of Betty Broderick videos, and the people who come out of the woodwork to support her, I mean, in the comments, just blows me away. It kind of frightens me a bit because the people who think that she's not a narcissist, they'll come on to there and they'll write out in the comments that she's not the narcissist, that her ex-husband was the narcissist. Now, if you guys don't know the story, she murders her ex-husband and his new wife in their bed at 6 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. or something like that. She goes into their house and shoots them while they're still in bed. He gets out of bed, I guess, to try to call 911. I don't know. He gets out of bed. And anyway, bottom line is this crazy nut, Betty Broderick, she was actually diagnosed in the first trial that she had. She was diagnosed by a clinical psychologist to have all 9 traits of narcissistic personality disorder. All the traits. She checked every box. And yet people who watch my videos, and others I'm sure, keep protecting her, keep defending her, and saying that because he cheated on her, he owes her his life, right? Because she worked while he went to school, he owes her. And I'm like, how much? At what point does he pay off that debt? At what point can he pay off that debt? And the answer is never. And at no point can he pay off that debt because she would not accept anything. He gave her, and people will argue this too. I mean, when she got, I cannot remember now. I think she got $35,000. And then on top of that, and it's kind of sketchy. It's hard to tell which is accurate, but something between $20,000 to $30,000 a month from him. Crazy, right? That's a lot of money. And this is back in the 80s. And right now, you're looking at $200,000 to $300,000 a year back in the 80s. That was not enough for her. He bought her a house overlooking the ocean in California. Not enough payment for her. What she wanted to see is for him to suffer. And he did suffer. I mean, she drove her car into his house through the front door. She harassed him. She harassed the kids. I mean, she just was the biggest narcissist. And what surprises me, though, is that there will be people who will defend her and say that because he had wronged her, because he had discarded her, and yeah, he cheated on her and left her. But here's the deal. There was enough information, enough evidence, even from the kids, to show that their marriage was horrible, to show that she was horrible to their dad. And she would, as you all know, when you're stuck in a marriage with a narcissist, it is not, sunshine and rainbows, right? And you can only imagine once you leave that marriage, either by, somebody, you're attracted to somebody else and you move on. And I think, yes, that's wrong. He should not have moved on right away like that. He should have simply ended his relationship with her and then started a relationship with the mistress. I get that. I totally understand that. But that doesn't mean that he owes her his life. People, narcissists do not have a claim on your life, even if you are married to them. Can you imagine if the narcissist in your life or your ex decided that you owe them your life? Well, that's exactly what narcissists do. And that's how they become even more obsessed, because they cannot imagine that the life they used to own, yours that is, right? Your life that they used to own no longer belongs to them. They do not like that. So they need to control you. They need to have you do the things that gives them supply. And when you stop giving them supply, they will require you to pay them back for what you took from them. You didn't take anything from them. You just are, or what you're withholding from them, right? And that what you're withholding is yourself. And it's so incredibly insane in their head that they cannot understand that you are a separate person from them. They cannot understand that even if you were with them for a long time, that doesn't mean you owe them your life. Okay? Now you want to be a decent person. They should be a decent person. Sometimes marriages end. I get that. But that doesn't mean then the other person owes them their life, right? Nobody owes the other person their life. So I want to see what you guys have to say, but I do have more to say about that and some examples. Leafs in 2021, interesting, says, good morning. So good morning to you. Yeah, God's promises says it's real because they believe their delusion. Cluster B Free says the narc went on a 2-day drunk. I don't understand this. Probably binge, right? In August 2020 and went out for more beer. I barricaded door and called Honolulu police. 3 months later, kicked out of the vet shelter, sleeping in the park with meth heads at 71 years old. Wow. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Dangerous Conversation says method acting. That's what it is. That's what narcissists do. They do this method acting where they get into the character of whatever, right? The person who's going to guilt you to death. And they act like they're actually feeling all of this pain and you believe it and you go along because they're so convincing. Yeah. Oh, thank you, God's promises. Gray rock. Yep. So when you block them out and you don't respond to them, you don't give them any reaction, that's, yeah, giving them the gray rock treatment. Yep. Renee says he escaped. He probably got dumped by the supply he was cheating on me with. Exactly. And that's why they come back and they start the love bombing on their old exes. If they don't have new supply or access to new supply, especially nowadays, right, with lockdowns. I was just talking to my husband last night about that, how hard it's got to be right now to meet anybody new, right? It's really hard for people to socialize or get into groups where you can meet new people. So for a narcissist, what do? So be very careful online because that is where the narcissists are fishing nowadays, you guys. God's promises says, a gray state is about David Crowley accused of murdering. Oh, I'm trying to see what you mean here. Of murdering his family and then committing suicide. It seems the whole family was murdered and he was framed. His mom even died 6 months after the family died. Wow, I don't know that story. Yeah. Angel says, I would have taken the money and run. I think Dan was a narc too. And I kind of think so too. The whole Betty Broderick, Dan Broderick story. It's very possible that he was also a narc. Yeah. So this is a case where she did not want, oh, this is crazy. And maybe this is the case where when they're both narcs But he gave a lot. It seems like he gave in a lot to try to just have her stop. And he did manipulate some things in the courts. He was a lawyer, so he knew how to do that very well. So I can see why people would believe that they were both narcs. But here's the deal: even two narcs together, neither of them owns the other one. That's the deal. Neither of them owns the other one. Um, and yeah, I agree with you. I would have just taken the money and run too. And then my whole point of these videos was to help people see that no matter how bad it gets, let it go. Like if you are able to get away from a narcissist, let go. Let go of them. If Dan was a narcissist, it would have Betty still could have had a good life if she had just let go, right? She was given a lot. A lot of people who have been dumped by narcissists get nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, the narcissist finagles the system in order to cheat their supply out or their ex out of everything, and then leaves them destitute. Betty was not destitute. That's why her whole narcissistic way of thinking, she became super obsessed, and to the point where she destroyed the rest of her life. Now I think she has spent more time in jail than she has spent out of jail. So she has so far lived the second half of her life in jail. Like what a throwaway is that? But she could not stand to see him happy. She could not stand to see that his life was going well, right? From the outside, remember how I've talked about this? From the outside, the narcissist's life appears, of course, like a fairy tale. Like everything's going great. Like they have this wonderful companion with them who won't leave them, and they're making a ton of money now, and they look like they have friends, and they're traveling, and they have everything they want, and you're thinking, how come their life looks so perfect and mine's a disaster after they've discarded you? And the reality, though, is they're still the same person they were when they were with you, right? If they were narcissistic when they were with you, if they were selfish, if they were condescending, if they were rude, if they were cheating on you, if their eyes were wandering when they were with you, they're doing the same thing to the new supply. Life with them is a disaster. Life with them is hell. It is not a pleasant place to be. So the new supply, even though they can act up like, oh, I'm living this wonderful, beautiful life that should have been yours, is the way Betty saw it. She's like, she's living my life, which is a big thing that Betty used to say about Linda, the mistress who then ended up marrying Dan. Yeah, she's living the horrible way that he treated you. Just remember that. She's living the same horrible way that he treated you. She's only putting up a front, just like you used to put up a front. No matter how unhappy Betty was with Dan, when they were around other people, she put up this front like they had the perfect life. So everybody from the outside would think they had the perfect life. She knew better. She knew better than that. So here we are. Cluster Be Free says, when trying to leave the ex, he screams, "You owe me. Not enough repayment in the world for perpetually ungrateful being." Yeah. And it's true. That's how narcissists are. You owe them. Renee says, I have a friend who's currently acting like Betty. Oh my gosh. She's trying to destroy her husband for cheating on her and filing for divorce. Yeah, that obsession will destroy her. I understand that obsession from even a normal person, but that obsession ends, right? They get obsessed for a while, they get very angry, they become very vengeful, and I understand that. I'm not saying it's right. I understand that emotion. But a normal person can eventually work through that and let it go. A narcissist will not. They will hold on to that pain, that injury for the rest of their life. And in Betty's case, for the next 35 years, she's been holding on to that. So you're like, why? Why would you hold on to it for that long? You could have had 35 years of enjoying your children, of going to your children's weddings, of seeing your grandchildren be born, spending time with them, and even starting a new relationship. And she, in fact, did start a new relationship. She had a guy that she was with, and from what we can tell, adored her. And, like, we're wondering, well, you already are in another relationship. It was about the money, you guys. It was about the money and control. And that she saw she was entitled to everything. So she wanted everything. That's how narcissists are. And I'm not saying that what happened to your friend, by the way, cluster B free, is not painful. It is extremely painful to be cheated on and then discarded by your ex. You definitely have some legal ways of getting back and hopefully getting some justice out of it, right? But even if that justice doesn't come, even if you never get something back, you still can heal from that. You still can heal from someone hurting you and you don't get something back from it. That's why I say so many times, like, we may not see karma come through, right? We may not see karma do its work in the narcissist's life, but know that karma is going to happen because the narcissist is still the narcissist. They are not any different just because they've discarded you. They're not any different just because they met somebody else, right? They're still bringing their character into that relationship. Renee says, oh no, wait, where am I? Yeah, Angel says it does hurt when you are lied to and cheated on. Absolutely. But the good news I want to share with you guys is you can heal from that. You don't have to be tied to the narcissist forever because of that, right? And you don't want to. I mean, can you imagine, if you can picture this, if you feel chained down and your life is just, you feel like your life is not your own, right? You're not in control of what you do, the choices you make, and you feel like you're in this padded, locked up room because of what the narcissist had done. And in our minds, we tend to do that, right? We tend to create this prison for ourselves, or at least feel like this prison was put on us and we were subjected to this prison. The amazing thing, you guys, is that we actually hold the key to get out of that prison. We hold that key, and it's control of our own mind. It's control it in. You may not think it sounds right, but forgiveness. And I'm not saying to tell the narcissist, oh, I don't mind what you did to me. No, just to say, I let it go. I'm letting this offense go. I'm letting the tragedy of our relationship go. And you release it. I mean, can you imagine? You don't have to file a paper to do that. You don't have to go in front of a judge to do that. You don't even have to have someone else's permission to do that. You have that key. You can do that yourself. And that's what Betty Broderick couldn't do. Now, that key, to use that key, do you need help? Possibly, right? You might want to go to counselors. You might want to go see a therapist. Might need some friends to walk alongside you to remind you of what you're still in control of and what to let go of. Those are good friends. Yeah. Yeah. BB Scott says sometimes when you block them out, they take you to court. Always a way to control. Ugh. Yeah, they do. They file some unsubstantial court orders or complaints, and then you have to go to court to prove that's not substantiated. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Angel 7 says, no dating sites for me. I am happy being alone and healing myself. That's good. Renee says, I agree, but their marriage was bad for 8 years. Her hubby was sleeping in the basement for 5 years. She threatened divorce all the time. Now she's demanding $3,000 monthly from him. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine that? $3,000 a month from him. And compare what Betty Broderick was getting. She was getting something, I can't remember now. I've done this video a long time ago. But the highest I had heard was like $35,000 a month. And then the lowest I heard, I think, was maybe $20,000 a month. It was crazy, or $25,000 a month. So Yeah, can you imagine not being able to live on 25,000 a month back in the 80s? That's baloney, right? But even here, you're right, Renee. Thank you for sharing this story. It's true. Like the person knows their marriage was crud, right? They know it. They know it's not a happy marriage for their spouse. And then when their spouse divorces them, they act as if they're surprised. How dare this person leave me, right? And then they become obsessed. Or if that person finds somebody else because look at the marriage. It's crud. It is. So why would you think your spouse is not going to possibly be enticed when somebody else comes along and shows them some compassion or interest or is kind to them, right? It is so important to work on your marriage and build that up so that the other, a marriage, I'm getting ahead of myself, but a marriage is when you want the best for the other person. A marriage is not what can I get out of it. And if people enter a marriage thinking, what can I get out of it? The marriage is doomed to fail because the other person is going to be miserable. So when you're married to a narcissist, they may at first love bomb you and act like they're doing things for you. So it seems like they're interested in the other person and making the other person happy. But really, they're in it for themselves. And so anybody who's married to someone who's in it for themselves, you're going to be miserable. Yeah. Yeah. Renee says, I keep trying to help her, but she won't listen. Yeah. And Angel says, she's just hurt. Her ego is damaged. She has to turn inwards to find herself again. And that's the same thing with Betty. We understand the pain, we understand the hurt. We don't understand that there's nothing at all that can heal them. Like they're in charge of that. That's why I say we hold the key. Betty held the key to her own healing, and she refused to use that, right? She wanted to push her agenda, which is she wins and everybody else has to pay. And the thing is, there was nothing that Dan could have paid to that would have been enough, right? Okay, say he divorced Linda and then he humiliates Linda, and then he goes back to Betty and promises to do everything in his life to make her life happy, and he becomes her slave. Would that be enough for her? I'll tell you what, no, it won't, because she will lord it over his head for the rest of his life and make him miserable. So, again, owning him. These narcissists believe that they actually own other people. And there's nothing those people can do to get from out from under their thumb. And it is horrible. Now, your friend, Renee, might be simply in the midst of all this pain, and I get it. She needs to go to therapy. Like, if she cannot get herself out of it, and that's why I say sometimes you need help. If she cannot get herself out of this thought, this pit that she's in, then she needs therapy for someone to come in and kind of shine a light on there or in there. And I was just talking to someone yesterday about how you need to shine truth on yourself. Like we're all afraid, really, to admit the truth, right? Even to ourselves. Sometimes we're angry at somebody, and we don't we assume that it's because of them that we're angry. But if you take a look inside of yourself to see, like, what is the root of my anger with this person? Yeah, they may have done some things towards me, but why am I not able to let go of it? And that's when you start to see your flaws. That's where you might see that you're jealous, or that you're insecure, or that your ego has been hurt, right? That you're injured, and that's why you're thrashing and you're fighting back. Once you see the truth about what's really going on inside of you, then you can heal. Then you can address what that truth is showing you, about your brokenness. Where is it that you are broken? What would be enough to heal you, right? What would you need from that other person to make you feel better? And if it's like, oh, I need to see them suffer, or I need them to apologize, but then you're truthful with yourself. Well, they did apologize. Well, that apology wasn't really enough. you have to find out what the real damage what that was done inside of you and then take care of that. And a lot of times, I got to tell you, jealousy. A lot of times it's jealousy. I have seen it again and again and again and again. Jealousy, the Bible says, will rot your bones. Rot your bones. Can you believe that? Yes. So it just eats you from the inside out. And if you don't address it, if you don't admit it, you're not going to be able to deal with it. Once you realize, like, oh, I'm jealous of this person, forgive yourself because it's a normal human feeling, okay? It's okay. So you were jealous. Don't feel like it's the worst thing in the world. Don't hold yourself to this extra high standard that you don't hold anybody else to. So you were jealous. Was it warranted? Probably, right? Like they have this, they have that. I don't have it. Yeah, I'm jealous. So now deal with it, right? Now realize, okay, why am I jealous? Why am I not able to let go? And take a look at what you actually do have in your life. That's I think the biggest cure to jealousy is to be grateful. The biggest cure to jealousy is to be grateful. So if you can see what is good in your life, what you still have that's wonderful in your life, and stop comparing yourself to the other person, right? You can't say, okay, well, I have friends, but they have even more friends. Yeah, I have a nice job, but they have an even better job. You can't do that. Just be grateful for you, right? Stop looking over there what they have. Look at what you have and be grateful for it. You will stop, or you will start loosening that hold of jealousy that was on you. You will start to break yourself off from that. So the hardest thing is to look inside of yourself, even after you've been injured, right, by the narcissist. And you start to become obsessed. You start to become obsessed with the new supply. You start to become obsessed with the narcissist like Betty was. When you become obsessed like that, you become the narcissist. So don't allow that to happen. Deal with your true self. Deal with the true matter. Deal with the true injury that was caused to you. And then start working on healing that. You cannot depend on the other person to heal you. You have to depend on working on yourself. Well, you guys, yeah. Yeah. Angel says, just be patient with her. I pray she heals. Under no circumstance should someone cheat. Well, usually, yeah, they shouldn't cheat. And that's why it's really important. But people do. It's a human thing. They make those mistakes. Because when you're at a point where you're really low and you're being treated really badly at home and somebody's being sweet to you out there, let me tell you, it's pretty hard. Sorry, you guys. It's pretty hard to not be tempted, right? But yeah, usually relationships that start on a lie won't last anyway. She needs to build her confidence. Yeah. The thing is, they should have been working on their relationship. If it had already been 8 years of misery, 5 years of him in the basement, like how is that a marriage, you guys? How is that a marriage? Where if he's living in the basement for 5 years of the last 5 years of, the last 5 years of their marriage, that's not a marriage. You guys, it's not. It's a roommate situation. And for you guys not to be working at it, for you guys not to be, to be deluded to think, well, I have this piece of paper, therefore I own that other person for the rest of their life and they get to live in the basement. What the heck kind of life is that? Yeah. An angel says, honestly, I have not been myself since I found out he was cheating on me. Narc won't give me back my stuff. I think it's control and for future Hoover. Now I'm ready for it. Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah. And Angel, that situation exists too, where when the person has cheated on you and you tried and you did your best for the relationship, but, the best that you could do at the time because that's what you knew, and the person cheated on you. I'm not talking about those situations. That is where, actually your healing there is, I think, more available to you than someone who's obsessed. Because someone who's obsessed is sabotaging themselves. You will be able to heal yourself because you're going to be able to let go, right? You may not be able to forgive him right away. You may not be able to forgive the situation right away, but you're going to be able to let go of the situation. and then distance yourself from it and not allow him back or give him any more control over you. You are doing the right things. Cluster B Free says, being continually blessed since dismissing narcopath, healing, skin glowing per my friends, and getting sleep. Vocational rehab gave $13,000 for computer school and wardrobe, etc. Wow, that's fantastic. So you get to start a new life. And that's the beauty of all of this, you guys. It is never too late to start over. It is never too late to have a second chance at life. And, are you still 20? No, but that's okay. You're whatever age you are now. And you can start over and have a beautiful life. You're not stuck in this basement for the rest of your life, right? Like the other person was saying. Amina, it's been a while. Good to see you. Says hi from Germany. Yeah, God's promises says people are objects to the narc. Angel says, I've questioned myself about being a narc because of my anger. The difference I learned is I feel bad after I'm angry. The narc never felt bad. Yep, I would agree with that. God's promises says, yes, we have everything we need to heal. The narc was just mirroring us the whole time. So we were in love with ourselves. I found I was angry with myself for staying so long and putting up with his crap. Yeah. Amina says, to heal, it took over a year. It was not easy, but I made it. Yay! I'm so glad, Amina. I remember when you came in and you were new and you were going through that. So glad you're doing better. So glad you've healed, right? I mean, and it is a process because sometimes we get thrown back a little bit. We sometimes we take a step backwards, and so that's why it's good to continually be reminded of principles of what the narc really is, so that we don't forget, so that we don't re-injure ourselves or sabotage ourselves in the future. Renee says, exactly, Escape. Her hubby is actually a good guy who always provided for my friend. She never had to work. She's mad he finally gave up on their marriage and moved on. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, narcissists believe that once you sign your life over to them, it belongs to them. Like they will not accept that. They will not accept that you give up, right? They can't do that. Guys, is my screen a little fuzzy? It might be. So you guys, we are at the top of our hour, but I'm going to go a little bit long today. Let me see if I can clean this. We're going to go a little bit long today because I wanted to get through some of these other points with you guys. Oh, maybe that's a little better. Yeah. Angel says she's only 6 months out away from the narc. Wow. Oh, wow. And Cluster B Free says she stayed 33 years, even with the cheating. Stayed 32 and a half years too long. Will heal and is now helping others. Thank you, Jesus. Yes. Angel says, the screen looks good. The muffin looks yummy. When are you going to cook again? I have had mixed reviews on the cooking, you guys. Some people did not like it. If I think of other things to cook, you know what? Oh my gosh, my friend made the most amazing rolls for Thanksgiving, and she gave me the recipe to that. So maybe I'll do that. Just the best rolls I've ever had in my life. So she just recently gave me a bunch of rolls, like a dozen, I think, maybe more, for Christmas. That was her Christmas present to me. So they're frozen and in my freezer right now. Oh, that is one of my happies, by the way, this week. Yeah. So you guys, let's talk about the rest of this. The fact that, the narcissist does get obsessed. And it's a negative, bad obsession, by the way. You do not want the narcissist obsessed with you when they get past the love bombing stage. The love bombing stage is that wonderful moment. Whoops, my dog is, stop it. You need it. get off my bed. So the narcissist becomes obsessed with you and love bombs you, and you think, oh, this is so wonderful. But that is it. That is the last and only time the obsession is ever pleasant with a narcissist, right? After that, it becomes this very negative effect on your life. They will try to control you. That's their new obsession. Their obsession now with you is that you owe them your life. They are entitled to your life and everything you have. They need to be able to control you. And if they don't control you, here's the deal: no one else can have you. So they do fully, truly believe that you belong to them, which is absolute insanity to me. Sorry, you guys. I'm distracted by my dog over here who's licking his paw on my bed. He needs to stop. He's so cute. All right. Yeah, they believe that you owe them. And you not only because you committed to them, but because they may have done some things for you during the relationship. So they believe whatever they did in the relationship, now you owe them for life for that. You can never pay them back. Like Betty continually would say that she worked 11 jobs. And I was like, how does a person work freaking 11 jobs or whatever it was, 8 jobs? I don't know. But it was an extraordinary number of jobs. And I understand some of it was like selling Tupperware or Mary Kay or something like that. I don't know. But she considered that like, I worked all these jobs. Yeah, just because you have one Tupperware party, doesn't mean that you had that job on top of all these other jobs. And I understand that his parents helped him through law school. Anyway, not going to get into all of that. But essentially, whatever the narcissist did during the relationship, they are going to feel you owe them for that. And to them, it's going to be the most amazing, biggest, significant thing they could have done. If they cleaned the toilets while they were with you, then you owe them for that. It's like, well, wouldn't you clean the toilets anyway, even if you lived by yourself, Yeah, it's just they cannot see that you contributed anything to the relationship. Only they contributed to the relationship. And whatever you contributed was minimal. What they contributed was magnificent, right? It was a huge deal. And so they cannot see that you gave anything to the relationship. They're the only ones who gave to the relationship, and now you owe them. And even if there's a financial amount to it, say they maybe if you can quantify it and say that they contributed $40,000 to the relationship. If you pay them back $40,000, it would still not be enough, right? There's just not enough of what you can do to repay them. They'll consider, doing their normal life and responsible things as if they were doing it for you. So if they took all of your clothes, including their own clothes, to the cleaners to get them dry cleaned, they're going to consider that I did this for you. It's like, well, didn't you also take your clothes to the cleaners, to the dry cleaners? Wouldn't you have done that anyway? When you did the laundry, wouldn't you have done laundry anyway? And I'm not belittling, these things. The other side is, they worked. Like, well, wouldn't you have worked anyway, even if you weren't married? wouldn't you have to pay bills anyway? And they don't see it that way. They see it as if I did all of this just for you. And now you owe me that entire amount, as if they didn't benefit from any of that themselves, right? So that is the obsession that you do not want from the narcissist. You do not want a bill that you can never fill, that you can never pay, right? Fulfill. You can never get rid of this bill that the narcissist holds over you. You can never satisfy it. So how do you get away from that type of obsession? A lot of times, simply it dies out on its own if you give it time. Most people, if they're not a narcissist themselves, can let go of it So if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, and actually a lot of narcissists out there, they won't go to the extent that Betty did. She's an all-out psychopath. Now, a lot of narcissists will not carry it on for years and years and decades and come back and haunt you in a negative and horrible way, by the way. Not just the, hey, I left some presents on your doorstep, but now I'm making you threatening calls, I'm slashing your tires, I'm threatening the people you love. They're not going to do that, okay? They will simply kind of fade away into the background and you're fine. But once in a while, there are narcissists out there that take it to the extreme that Betty Broderick did and others like her, where they cannot let go. I've done another video. I think it's one that's called When the Narcissist Rages. I'll put that link on this video as well. So you can see what happens when the narcissist acts like they own you. It's absolutely psychopathic, you guys. It is nothing that you can do to stop it. There's nothing that you can do to stop them from thinking this way. So you need legal help. You need police protection. You need a way of getting out of town and away from them, like changing your name, your number. Some people have had to do this. I actually have a relative who had to get away from her ex and had to do this, had to escape in that way because he was so controlling. Did he give her a nice financial life? Yes. But he was very controlling down to the color of her fingernails, right? If she should go get her nails done and he was not happy with the color, he would give her a really hard time about that. Like, what the heck? But I don't know. There was a lot other stuff that was going on in their relationship, not just with the fingernails, of course. And she had to escape. She had to find a way. And her mom helped her, like stash some money and get her a path to leave. And she did. She escaped from him. And she had to change, of course, her address. She had to go in hiding for a while so he wouldn't be able to find her. Eventually, she did remarry somebody else who is now loving towards her, and they have a really wonderful relationship. So to get away from a narcissist that is that controlling, sometimes you have to disappear. Sometimes you need legal help to do that, and you have to hide yourself. The video that I did called When Narcissists Rage talks about a man who did track down his ex-wife, and it was horrible. It was very, very horrible, to the point where when he was attacking her, he was also attacking his own daughter too, who was there trying to defend her, and she got injured. And this guy had totally lost his mind. There's video footage of him in the police interview, and even the police interview was insane. Uh-oh, my dog is... Stop. What are you doing? Digging on my bed. I'm going to get into my screen here in a minute if he keeps going. No, get down. Get down. Well, you guys, that is our show today. I wanted to share with you these traps of when the narcissist becomes obsessed with you and what you can do, right? It is not something that you should want. It is not something you should desire, even though we sometimes wish the narcissist would love bomb again, right? That obsession was really pleasant and wonderful. And we miss that obsession where they were love bombing. But the reality is the love bombing is just the honeymoon stage, or the trap that's set to get you back into their life. It's not who they are. It's not the standard for the relationship. It's not the usual. It is not going to be the kind or the part of the relationship that will last throughout your marriage. It is only there for a purpose, which is to get you. And then the other obsession is to control you. So I just want to help you guys kind of break out of that hopeful, state where you think it would be nice if the narcissist thought about you or wanted you back or wanted to start up again with you, a relationship with you. It's not nice. It's not good. It is going to be a total nightmare. So you guys, that is what I wanted to share with you. And I hope you understand, like, the good news, you guys, is that you got out of there. You got out of that absolute crazy town. You are no longer having to suffer at their hands. You don't have to suffer with them trying to control you. Yeah. So let me see what you guys are saying and I want to give you time also to wrap up some of your conversations. Trying to find where we left off. Yeah, Cluster B Free says, right, you can't communicate with an alcoholic narc. They never remember. Oh my gosh, you guys, so true. I've noticed that too. The alcoholic narc doesn't even remember that what they did to abuse you. They don't. They don't remember that they did anything. I have someone I knew who talked about her father who was an alcoholic, and he even would shoot holes into the walls and then the next day not know how the holes got there. I mean, oh my gosh, you guys, totally crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Angel 7 says he would come home, call me names. Next day he would say, I didn't say that. Totally messed up my head. Yes, that's the gaslighting. Sometimes the gaslighting is on purpose, and sometimes they really don't remember. But then you feel like, well, wait a minute. If I'm the only one witness to it, did it really happen? Yeah, crazy. Amina says, stay strong in what you do. It will get better. I changed all, but most I changed myself. Love bombing holds for a few months, then you are their slave. Yes, exactly. The love bombing obsession part of the relationship is just to capture you. And then the obsession after that is to control you. Yeah, Cluster B Free says they have convenient amnesia. A drunk man says what a sober man is thinking. Oh, yeah, you know what? I've heard that too. Like, alcohol doesn't make you do bad things, it just brings out the person you were already. It brings down your inhibitions of what you were already, which is kind of scary, right? So these angry drunks, I just go, so this is really who they are. Like when they get angry, this and what they say, that's what they're really thinking. Oh my gosh, I also have a friend who was in the CIA, and he would say that their biggest, most easy tactic was to get the person their target, to get them drunk. Because once you get the person drunk, you can get to the truth, right? You can get them, their guard goes down and they will tell you the truth. Because a drunk person rarely can fake stuff while they're drunk. It's just them. It's where they're the most raw. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading to see. Cluster B Free says narcs are lazy at heart, especially house cleaning, laundry, and grocery shopping. Well, it depends. I've known a couple of narcs. Actually, let me think. Three narcs, like two of them are relatives, and another one who was so fastidious about cleanliness. Yeah, they were very orderly and they were not happy with anything was out of order, actually. They were very controlling with their spouses in that way. Then I know another narc who's the um, covert narcissist, and she's a total slob. Oh my gosh, total slob. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, wow. Cluster B Free says the pain from the words cut to the bone. After one of his rages, something broke inside, and I told him, you can't hurt me anymore. Ah, Angel 7 says, when I'm ready, I can't wait to give all of my love to someone who appreciates it. Not ready yet. No, no. Yeah, you have to get to a point where you're happy with yourself and you can fulfill yourself. And for me, and um, my beliefs and what I've been taught is really I guess there are people out there who can fulfill themselves. I'm not sure, but for me, it seems like I have to go to God to fulfill me. It's my faith that fills me, that gives me strength, that centers me when I'm weak, when I'm doubtful of myself. I go to God. I go to Jesus, and that centers me. And because I'm able to do that, I'm able then to be centered in my relationship with my husband, and I'm able to give to him. Like, it actually makes me feel good to do things for him. And it doesn't even occur to me like, well, what's he doing back for me? I just want to do things for me, for him. And then he just automatically does things for me too, which is so nice. So we're at that point in our relationship where it really is symbiotic. It really is. We're in it for the other person. We're not in it for ourselves. Now, do we benefit from it? Absolutely. It's really a good place to be. So I want to help you guys also get to that point. And when you get into a relationship, I hope you come back to this channel. I hope you do share what's going on in your relationship. And then maybe we can work on coaching in that way to make sure that things continue to go well, right? And that you don't self-sabotage. Because a lot of times, even well-meaning people will sabotage their own relationships because of their insecurities. Yep. Or because they're bringing the pain from the previous relationship into the new relationship. Yeah. So glad to have you here. Amina says, love you all. Be safe always. Thank you, Oscar. She remembers. My little dog there is called Oscar, and I've also mentioned that if you want to call me something, call me Escape. Escape from Crazytown, EFC, which means Escape from Crazytown, or Oscar, which is this little dog here that I keep, my little travel companion too. I'm going to be bringing him with me when I travel, and I hope, oh man, what would be so nice is if I can do an off-site location in a nice place so you guys can enjoy where I am going. So hope that you guys can come along with me and I can do this on Wednesday next week. So in case you missed that, I might be doing I might be doing Happy Hour on Wednesday because Thursday is Christmas, either Christmas or Christmas Eve, something like that. So I'm probably not going to be doing Happy Crappy Hour on Thursday. I'll be doing it on Wednesday instead. I will send out a little notification. If you guys subscribe and hit that bell, you'll get that notification. So do that. Don't forget to share my videos. Don't forget to like and to comment. And what else? Watch a commercial once in a while. I so appreciate you. I'm so glad you guys came on today. We had a really good discussion. I loved all your input, and I thank you so much for showing up and for working through this and sharing your successes. Amina, especially you, I'm so glad that you came back today. It's been a while. I was actually thinking about you this week and wondering how you're doing. So how wonderful. Yeah. Well, you guys, God bless you guys. Have a great week. Remember, you are free. And that is people die for freedom, you guys. People die for freedom. They will fight for it. So when you're free from the narcissist, that is a huge blessing. Enjoy it. Love your new life. Get to love your new life. Build it to the point where you love it. You are in control of all of this. You get to make your choices. And whatever comes your way, you still get to make choices. So blessings to you. Make sure you say hi to a stranger. Open up this world to something good. Spread your sunshine and spread goodness. And I will see you next week.